Hello friends, how are you? In today's session, I will explain how we can save a list of objects or how we can save a single object in a session in ASP MVC.NET 7. So let's we start. I will open the Visual Studio 2022 edition, right? And then I will create a project in ASP.NET 7. So click on this option. Here I will search for ASP.NET. Okay. Now from the template, select this one, ASP.NET Core Web App with the model, view, and controller option. Right. Then click on Next. And here you have to give the name to your project. So my project name will be session in session dot net. Okay, it will be the project name, and solution name will also be the same as project name for the time. And I will give here a location to my project, so it should be like this way: folder session in ASP. Okay, sorry guys. Yes. Now select folder and click on next. From the drop down, you have to select the .NET 7 and keep this option as check. From the authentication type, you can use the built-in, individual, or any other type, but for the time I will select none and click on create. Okay. So once the project created successfully, then I will show you how we can save and use a list of objects in ASP.MVC.NET 7. Okay, so the project created successfully. Now let's me run the project. Okay, so you can see that the project running successfully. Now let's me go again to the Visual Studio. I will stop at the time, and here I will add two classes. One class will be the categories. I will set these categories list in a session. Okay, categories. And here let's me add some properties like public int category ID. Okay, let's me add here uh, category name, and also I will add here is active. Okay, now let's me add one another class users. Yes, okay, and I will add here some properties, public int user ID. Here I will add one another property with the name first name, last name, and email is active, and it will be a string property. Let me copy this one and also paste for last name and email, and it will be a boolean property. Okay, and here let me also keep this as a string. Now let me go to the controller, to the home controller, and here when somebody click on the privacy page, if somebody go to the privacy page, then I will save here the data of the categories and users in a session, right? Now let's me create here a list of the categories first. Okay, and here I will give a name, it should be the categories. Okay, new. Then I will create a single object of the user. Okay, here, like in these way, users is equal to new. Here, let's me add some data to the categories. So categories dot add categories. Okay, the category ID should be one. Category name should be electronics. The is active should be one. I am just creating some. I am only adding some items to these categories list. Okay, so it should be true. Okay, now let's me add one another row, and here the category ID should be two. The category name should be those, and here it should also be active. And let's me add one another category with the name like box. Okay, and it should be false. No, I will use these categories in a session and I will then use in my application, right? Now here let's me also add some data to the user object. User dot user ID should be one. User dot first name should be user dot last name should be uh, so now let's suppose for the time, and user dot is active should be true. Okay, I'm just preparing some dummy data. Now let's suppose you get these list of categories from the database, and then you want to store it in a session so that you can't make again and again a call to your database. So I will show you how you can save these lists in a session. And let's suppose you get the login user data from the database, and then you want to store this complete object in a session. Then I will show you how you can do this. Okay. Now here, first I will save the categories list in a session. Save categories list in a session. Okay. Now, to use the category in ASP MVC.NET 7, you have to add some kind of setting in your program.cs class. So I have just copied the setting from one of my other project so that we can save our time. Now here in the builder.services, just add here the builder.services.add singleton and use these class and namespace, interface, right? And then you have to add this configuration also. I will explain this. Okay, it is one time activity. You have to add this kind of thing in your program.cs. So just press enter, and at this place you have to add in the services the add distributed memory cache. Okay, and then in the next line you have to add the session in the services, like in this way. Here we are specifying the times. Let's suppose I give here 10 minutes only, then my session will be expired after 10 minutes. And if I want the session to remain for an hour, then I will give here 60 minutes. Okay, so you can give here minutes. And you can also remove this one. It is just for, I mean, to divide the area. Okay, so I will remove this at the time. And final thing is, you have to add the app.use session here. Okay, just add these middleware app.use session, and then go to your controller again, to the home controller, Control S, and here you have to use the dependency injection. So just copy this line, and you have to use the IHTTP context accessor interface for accessing the session, right? No, also pass it in the constructor of the home controller. So control tab, I edit directly using the license that gives by the Visual Studio. Okay. Now copy these entity, I mean this object of the HTTP context accessor interface, and come here in the privacy page. You can add this code anywhere in your application for storing the session that you require. For the time I am using this action method, so I will show you how I can call this method. Okay, so http context dot http context dot uh, session dot set string, right? Okay, and then just give here a name to your session variable. So my session variable name, let's suppose, will be categories. Here I will pass this object, but keep in mind that these function will only save a string in a session, but here it is a list of categories. So I am not here the relations also show that cannot convert from generic session list to string. Okay, so I will first convert this list to a string, and then I will save in a session. So for performing this activity, let's me add here a new get package. Right click on dependencies, new get package, and search here for soft JSON, this library. Okay, now install this library into your project. Once this library install, then I will show you how we can save, do the remaining activity. Okay, so the package installed successfully. Let's me close this window, and here I will convert, as I said, the list to a string, and then I will save in a session. Okay, so let's me declare here a variable of type string, categories string, and I will type here JSON convert dot serialize object, and here I will pass these categories list. Okay, now first I will convert the categories to a string, and then I will save here in a session the category string, right? Now here in this place I will also perform this kind of activity. First, I will convert this object into a string and then I will save in session. No user data in session, and here context. If I show you the context, it is this interface variable. So it is the built-in interface. If I just go to the definition, it is exist in the Microsoft.sp.net core.http namespace, right? I will use the context.http context.session.setString. Okay, and let's me give here a name to the string, mm, users user data. Okay, it will be the variable name, and here I will convert this user entity to a string first, string user string. Okay, and here JSON, sorry guys, JSON convert dot serialize object, and here I will pass the user. Let me also remove this s from the variable name. Okay, user. Okay, now I will save this variable in a session. It will be a string variable. Okay, now once I save the session in this place, then I will use in some other controller in my application. So for doing this, let me add one another controller with a name. Let me give here a name session demo controller. Okay, now I am saving the session inside the whom controller privacy method, and I will use inside the session demo index page. But let me add here one another method like uh, demo underscore one. Okay, so here I will access all the session variable what once I create it. So now let me go to the yes, it is my first session variable, and here it is my second session variable. So I will access this variable here in this place. Okay, now let's me retrieve uh, degrees from session. Okay, and here in this place I will retrieve the user object from session. Okay, now let's me create here a list of categories first. We control Z categories, list of categories. Okay, and here at this place, let's me get the data from the session. So I will get like in this way JSON sorry, first let's me copy this interface, this one, control C, and here I will inject it in the constructor of this class. So public, copy the name of the class, session controller. Okay, and here inject the interface, sorry, like not like in this way, just copy this one. Context will be equal to context. Okay, and now I will access this object context dot http context dot session dot get string. Okay, and here I will just give you the name of the string. So control Z, sorry, uh, I have just to, I mean, give here the session variable name. But here I am getting an error that cannot implicitly convert string to the list type, right? No, here let's me perform an activity, one extra activity. JSON convert dot deserialize object, okay, and here I will give a type. So I want to convert this JSON variable into a list of categories. So Control C, so Control Z, Control C, Control V, and here I will copy this complete line, okay, Control X, and paste here, right. Now you can also first get just this variable in a string, like in this way. Let's me uh, string categories string, okay. I am just getting the categories list string from the session, and then I will pass here. Sorry, controls it here, and here I will convert into the categories. Okay. Now here in this place I will also write the same code for the user object. Now copy this one and paste here. I will just get the user data from the session. So it will be the thing. Okay. Now let's me also declare here a variable for the user, okay, and here I will save the user data from the session. And here you can see that it's giving me an error. Cannot implicitly convert the list to the session to this object, okay, because it is a single object. So I will remove here the list, and I will also pass this class name users, okay. Now let's me put here a debugger, and let's me also put here a debugger, okay, so we can see how we can getting the data. These, let's me add a page, add view, add, and I will add here a name to the view, demo underscore one, add, okay. Now let's me also it here an hashtag demo one, control S, and run the application. Okay. Now, as I write the complete code for saving the list and the object data in a session here in the privacy method, so I will click on these option, and let me show you here the process. So step forward, next, next, next. Now I have added 3 items to the categories list. You can see here the first one, the third, and the last. Okay. Now here at this line, I will convert this list to a string first. Step forward. Let me show you here the string. You can see that all these data converted in a JSON string. If I show you in a notepad, okay, so it is basically a string of JSON. You can see here, it is a JSON string. Okay. Now let's me click on the on these options. Step over. Now that after executing this line, this string is saved successfully in the session variable with the name categories. Now step next, next, next. Let me show you the data of the user. No, here it is the data of the user. Okay, and let's me also convert into a string. If I show you the string of the user, it is a JSON string. You can see the user ID, the first name and other thing. And let's me save also in a session. Now continue. Okay. So the session data of list of categories and user saved successfully. Now to check whether it's saved successfully or not, let's me navigate to this function of the session controller because I am getting the session data again back from the session in this function. Now I will navigate to this function demo underscore one. Okay. Now the method hit it successfully. Let's me step forward. I am getting the session no in a string variable. Okay, let's me show you whether it's working. Okay, so I get it the exact data from the session that I store, and now I will convert into a into the list of categories, and here you can see that I am getting the exact data, and now I will also get the user from the session. You can see here. Continue. Okay. Now let's me also display you here the data of the categories and user in this page. So I will return these categories and user object to the view. So let's me add here a class, stop the application. Okay. Let's me add here a new class command model.cs, and inside the common model I will declare here a list of categories. Okay. And I will add here an object of the user. Okay. Let's me declare a variable of this class inside the demo controller uh, to the demo controller. Sorry, session demo controller, right? And here I will declare common model is equal to model dot new model, and in the model dot list categories list. Okay, I will assign this variable, this list of categories, and in the common model dot user I will assign the user data, right? And then I will return this model to the view. Now go to the view, and here let's me declare here the model is common model. So let's me copy the namespace. Okay, go to the demo.1 page again. So it will be my models dot common model, right? And here let's me declare here a table, and inside the table I will show you the list of categories. Okay, table th. Okay, let's me add one table header. Okay, it will be the category ID. Control C, Control V, category name is active. Okay, here let's me add a table body, T body. Okay, and TD, sorry, TR. And here in the table row, let's me add some data. First I will add here a table row. Here let's me add these all option, Control X, Control V. We can Control D, like in this way. Sorry guys, let's me close this one. Okay, Control KD. Okay, and here I will use the for each loop to display the categories. Okay, variable items in model dot categories. Okay, let's me copy this one and paste here. Control, sorry, let's me copy uh, here. Let's me add one td table data. The first one will be the item dot category id. The second will be the category name, and the third will be the is active option. So category name is active. Okay, and let's me put this table in a format. So I will declare here a class row, and inside this div, let's me add two other divs. The first one will be the class call lg at. Let's me add here one another class, sorry, one another div. Okay, and copy this one, control X. It should be like 12, and it should be like 8. Control X, control V. Okay, and let's me display here the user's data. Okay, we'll add here a UL item would be mm, model dot users dot first name, and here let's me also add the last name, model dot user dot last name. Okay, and in the second line I will display the is active option. Okay, let's me remove this code, is active. Okay, now let's me run the application again. Click on the privacy. Okay, and here I am saving all the categories data in a session, and now I am saving the user data in a session. Continue. Okay, now I will navigate to the this page. Okay, so it is in the session demo, uh, demo and demo 1. Okay, I am getting this data from the session. I am getting user object from the session, and then I am saving inside the user and categories. Okay, let's me return this model to the view. Click on continue, and here you can see that the categories list display successfully, and here I am also displaying the user object data in a view. So you can use the session in .NET 7 like in this way. You can use it to store the list of objects. You can use it to store the a single object, and even you can use it just to save a string or an integer value in .NET 7. Thank you for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe the channel so that I load more content for you. Thank you.